lucky to have all of you in our lives, to have had the life that we've had. Mike ended up in education kind of in an odd way. He applied and, of course, didn't go through the normal way of, applying with CMS. He just sent his resume off to a couple of schools. And West Charlotte contacted him the week before school started. We were at Disney World. Of course, getting back the day before school started, and Mike became a teacher the next day with no experience. Spent his first year at West Charlotte, and then last one in, first one out, and then he ended up at Olympic, which became his home for so long and was such a fabulous experience. After the first year, they moved to the model of transitioning to 5 schools. He was involved in that transition, and then from there, kept doing things his way, developing these business partnerships. Mike is very good at asking for forgiveness instead of permission. He has vision, and he makes it happen. And that's one of the things I love the most about him. In terms of our personal life, we have 2 amazing sons, and here for a second. Ian, the cutest grandson ever, if I say so myself. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Now I'm going to let my sons come up and speak.
So I just want to begin thanking everybody for coming out today. We really appreciate it, and just celebrating the amazing person who is my father. When I think of my dad, 3 things come to mind: father, coach, and loving husband. So my father is a very true story. My father welcomed me into this world with loving, open arms and love from the moment I first took my first breath. In return, I introduced myself by peeing all over him. That was my first act on this planet. And quite frankly, I pretty much set the stage from there. That's how it was going to work. So I've always been testing his patience and his limits there. But to back up a little bit about my dad, to really understand who he is, we need to talk about my grandfather. He came to the United States from the Philippines in search for better opportunities for himself and his future family. He settled in California, where he was a migrant farmer, working hard under the sun, just doing anything he could to provide food and give more opportunities to my dad and his 2 other brothers. And knowing about this sacrifice is really just important in understanding what it meant to be brought up by my dad. He imparted this on us throughout our entire lives, as he was teaching us how to navigate in this world. So as a result of my grandfather's sacrifices and my father's upbringing, growing up with my father meant learning the values of hard work, perseverance, and kindness. I was an athletic kid growing up. I'm fortunate to inherit a lot of that from my dad, and blessed to be able to lean on his coaching abilities to help make me better each and every day. Some of you guys might not know this, but my dad won high school state championships in basketball. He coached at a collegiate level as well. And I was able to leverage this skill set when it came to baseball. My father would take me out every single day after school to hit baseballs at the batting cage, practice catching fly balls. And my dad, he wanted to work on the fundamentals. I really just wanted to practice diving catches that would land me on ESPN's top 10. So we compromised. We did a little bit of both. So he'd throw baseballs until his arm would fall off, and he'd stay up late reading books, learning drills and techniques that could help improve my swing. But the most difficult part by far for him was being able to convince his know-it-all teenage son that there might still be some knowledge that he can impart on me. As many of you know, my father's a gifted diplomat who can find compromise with even the most stubborn of opposition. He's pretty good at staying calm and collected, but in my family, you know when he has hit his breaking point because he has a pretty telltale sign. One of the most vivid memories I have as a kid was pushing my dad to his edge and that's when he would release the stomp. That's where he would make my dad so frustrated that he would shake his head back, lift up his leg as tall as he could, and slam it like a sumo wrestler, just to show how disgusted he was with you. I'm just curious, any of the work folks, did he ever do that at CMS? It worked on us as kids. We knew that was enough. So eventually my father's lessons in coaching, they would sink in. There's countless summers playing baseball. My dad imprinted on me the lesson of importance of hard work and perseverance and how it will eventually pay off. It allows you to become your best possible self, and that greatness wasn't something that ever was going to fall into your lap. It's something that you commit to each and every day. So as a family man, my father has always been the cornerstone of our home. He'd occupy us after school, playing wiffle ball in the backyard. He kept our school sparkling clean so we could have friends over all the time. And he was Matthew and I's personal chauffeur who would take us to sporting events. He'd take us to Boy Scouts and our friends' houses, and he never complained. In addition, though, to being a wonderful father, my dad showed us how to be a wonderful husband and partner to my mother. My dad is a firm believer that a happy wife makes for a happy life. And so he made sure to keep it that way each and every day. And to this day, he still texts us about every single birthday, Valentine's, or Mother's Day that's coming up, just to make sure that it's idiot-proof, because, I mean, look at us. He showed us how to compromise and how to be diplomatic, and that sometimes you really just need to bite your tongue, take a deep breath, and say, yes, dear. And so, Dad, I just want to thank you for everything you've done for me and for being an incredible person you are. I'm proud to be your child and hope to live up to the example you've set. It's impossible, really, to discuss all the things that make my dad a wonderful person. So fortunately, we've got a couple of speakers here tonight.
To start off, I want to congratulate my dad for finishing his career out strong. There's something that he put with me and my brother very early on in our life, and it's whatever you do it to the best of your ability. And through meeting all of you guys, meeting his friends, associates, whoever, I know that he does that every single day based off the interactions that I have with y'all. Something that's very important to me that you get out of a great parent is that you know that they always have your back. And that's something that I've always had through my dad. Whether it be when I went to engineering school and I made it one semester and I was like, this isn't for me. That was okay with him. What my dad's always brought to me is find what makes you happy, find what you love, and that's what you're gonna enjoy through the rest of your life. And that's something that he's always pushed through me. He's never told me you gotta be a lawyer, you gotta be a doctor, you gotta be whatever. You gotta be what you wanna be. And that's a message that he's brought to me as well as to, I'm not sure how many of these people are in here are students of his, but I know that he's brought that to all of you as well. So like I was saying, always having my back. Back in 7th grade, I have always been a really bad procrastinator. And in 7th grade, we had this project that they gave us with 3 months to do, and I decided to do it on the last night. I had my dad pull me out of school early so I could do it. And it was creating a whole website, and I had no idea what I was doing. But he sat with me through the entire night to make sure I had something that was presentable, something that was nice, and I knew from that point on that no matter what I do, I always have my dad behind me. And something that I'll always appreciate and something that I know that I need to bring to my kids coming forward. But I want to congratulate my dad for finishing out strong. Like I said, I'm not the best at communicating. There's a reason why they keep me in the back of the house and not in the front. But congratulations, Dad, on creating a career worth having. I hope you enjoy your retirement.
Mrs. Gill and Rod.
So proud of both my brothers. And today we honor Mike for all his accomplishments, and I'm a little distant away in reading about everything he's done in the community. And so proud of my nephews as they came up here and spoke to us all. I'm just so proud of my brother.
Yeah. Throughout all of our lives, this is what it's been like. So, could anyone tell me how many people live in North Carolina? 10,700,000. How many people live in the United States? 335 million people. How many people live in the entire world? About 8 billion, just a tad more than that. Amongst all these people, there are good people. There are great people. But there's a very small percentage that we might consider to be extraordinary. My brother Mike is one of those extraordinary persons. Everyone here is familiar with all the work that Mike has done in the field of education. What you probably don't know, actually you do know because Sammy shared it, Mike was a star athlete, excelling in basketball and baseball in his youth through high school, and he was also an avid water skier. For the last couple of decades, fly fishing has occupied his time, along with testing the limits of his big green egg, while watching Notre Dame, the San Francisco 49ers, and the struggling Carolina Panther football. Nobody knows what the future holds, and as kids, I don't know about you guys, but I never could have imagined we would be where we are today. Among our many successes, we married incredible wives that have stood by us and made us all the things that we are today. And I, as well as them, are so thankful for our spouses. And you know what?
What?
Our parents died relatively young. They were in their 60s, which is way too young, but I think they would be quite proud of how the three of us ended up. Mike, we all love you dearly, and we are so incredibly proud of your achievements in the field of education, and we are especially proud of what you have achieved in life. It goes without saying that everyone in this room are among your biggest fans. As I was organizing what I was going to say this evening, one question kept coming to mind. What is the key to life? No matter what your answers might be, I think the real answer is to be happy. Mike, I hope the days ahead bring you much happiness, filled with great food, opportunities for fishing, and time with family and friends. What I have realized as I have gotten older is that in each of our lives, we meet people that make a positive difference in our life. Mike, you are one of those extraordinary persons that has made a difference in the lives of so many students, teachers, employers, family and friends, and Gil and I are so proud to call you brother. We love you.
I'm Mike's principal, and we have worked together. I think our story goes back to 2011 when I was hired to be an assistant principal at Olympic High School at that point in time. And I got to know Mike then and really got to see who he is as a person. And you've heard his family say amazing things about him and his character and who he is. And I will tell you that the same person that he is personally, he's also professionally. And at that point in time, he was really doing innovative work, stuff that was not status quo. He's still doing stuff that's not status quo. And I think Noon had mentioned that there would be times that he would have to ask for forgiveness. And one of my earliest stories or events that I remember with Mike is he would push the boundary in regards to what we were doing as a school and what we were doing for the district. And some people didn't like that because it was innovative. And there was a principal at that school that I love and respect dearly that had stood up for Mike against the district personnel that were not happy with the work that he was doing. And what he had told me was, Mike's changing kids' lives.
Amen.
He is changing kids' lives, and he is worth fighting for and worth standing up for. And that had resonated with me. And so Mike and I had the opportunity to get to know one another when I was the assistant principal and I'd gone away. They had moved me to another school, and one of the 5 principal positions at Olympic had opened up. And because we had 5 schools then, it was split up into 5 schools. And I said, Mike, I think I'm going to apply for this job. Had the opportunity to interview, and I'm pretty sure that he had influenced who was on that panel in my favor, because I knew everybody really well and I had good relationships with them. So I think Mike might have had a hand in that. And so I came back to Olympic, and we were tasked with putting the school back together into one, but Mike continued to do the amazing work that he had started before I had come to Olympic. Apprenticeships, where families that were in poverty were now in the middle class. We had robotics, we had the advanced manufacturing shop at Olympic, where our students would have opportunities with some of the corporations that are in the room today. And then of course we've gone to Palisades, where his latest venture is our green energy and power pathway, because that is the future. And Mike continues to do what he does each and every day. But I think the thing that I've learned most from Mike is just that, you know, he is all the things that his family has said of him. He's just an amazing human being. I have not seen him do the stomp. I have not seen that. So I guess we haven't made him too mad at work. But Mike, you are an incredible human being. I have learned a lot from you, and I still continue to learn a lot from you each and every day. And I appreciate all of our conversations, and I have been honored to do this work with you the last 13 years. I've learned so much from you, Mike. I appreciate all you've done for our kids.
So I still cannot call him Mike. It feels very foreign in my mouth. It has to be Mr. Realon. We'll be in business meetings together. I work for Siemens Energy, and it's like, oh, Greg, how's it going? Susan, I'm Mr. Realon. So always has to be that. But I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they were talking about Mike, and about halfway through, it's like, oh, Mr. Realon's who he's talking about. That makes sense. Got it. But I went to Olympic High School, and that's where I met Mr. Realon, and it really wasn't until my junior year that I got to know him very well. Of course, everyone throughout the whole school knows exactly who Mr. Realon is. But I remember when I met him, it was because I was 16 years old, trying to find a job. You know, I just needed some gas money. But I applied to Chick-fil-A, made it through for one interview, didn't make the second one, didn't get the job there. Applied to the YMCA for summer counselor, didn't get that job. So I was like, what's going on? Like, a lot of my friends are getting jobs. It's not working for me. And so I went to one of my teachers. He said, you know who you need to talk to? Mr. Realon. So I went to Mr. Realon. He put me through a mock interview, and you were kind of tough. You were kind of mean. But it helps. It helps. He really taught me a lot about interviewing, just different things to say, right? And the very next interview I had was with Livingston Haven for an internship, but really high for a high school student, very high-paying internship too, and got that right away. And so just he really helped me out. Just that very simple step, you being a little mean in the interview, but you know, set me up for success. And yeah, from there, I just really respect Mr. Realon. We always had a really good relationship, and he's the one that actually told me about apprenticeship programs, and he recommended me for it. He said, this is a really great program, you should go for it. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like me. Like, I want to go to Ford University, already applied to some schools, but I respectfully, like, I'll go check it out. And I absolutely fell in love with it. He was completely right. Of course, always put your trust in Mr. Realon, no matter what. And now I'm still working at that company today. I work with Mike. We do, oh, I said it, that works, wow. We're getting close now, yeah. And yeah, we work a lot together now, and I just really appreciate everything that he's done for me. There's so many different opportunities that have happened, being able to go live in Germany with that company, go to the White House, speak there. So many doors that opened, and that's all because of Mr. Realon. And I know it's not just me, so many different students that he helped throughout his time in CMS and Charlotte, and really all of North Carolina and really the world too. He's helped so many people, and so on behalf of all the students throughout the entire U.S., thank you so much.
Yeah, hello, Mark Rollinger. I work with Bosch Rexroth here in Charlotte. I mainly know Mike through work, but I would also consider him a very good friend. But at Bosch Rexroth, I've had a lot of different positions there, but back in 2012, they came to me there and said, hey, we want to get more engaged in the local community with STEM education, with the the younger kids, and we want you to take the lead in our efforts on that. And they said, the first thing you need to do, though, is you need to go meet this guy named Mike Realon over at Olympic High School, okay? So through some other business partners, some of them are here tonight, they then introduced me to Mike, and actually at the time, they were in the middle of planning what we called STEMmersion. Okay, and if you don't know, STEMmersion is where we bring in 50 to 100 teachers over the summer, and then we organize them to go and spend time at all the different corporations around Charlotte, so they get some real experience on what we do in advanced manufacturing or in technology or you know, the service crafts type industries. So that was what's going on then. But then they came back to me and said, and oh, by the way, we have lots of money for you to spend in the local community. So then Mike and I got together and, okay, so what are we going to do with all this money? And funny, it's hard to spend money when you have it, especially with CMS. So we had to struggle through, and I hope I don't get anybody in trouble here, Mike in trouble with CMS, but the first thing we wanted to do is we wanted to start an advanced manufacturing lab at Olympic High School, okay, which is still there. Actually, it's grown quite a bit. If you ever get a chance to go see it, it's really awesome. It really is a big accomplishment. But in doing that, we had about $80,000 to $100,000 that Bosch was giving us, and believe it was really hard to spend that money. We had a lot of help from O and sorry, I called him O, Eric, and some of the teachers there at Olympic. But finally we got it done, and what's even funnier than that is that CMS, without even knowing it, through Mike's ways, ended up probably donating another $300,000 on top of our $100,000 to really make it a top-notch machine shop. So that's some of the talent that Mike has, is that he's good at finding money where there's no money, okay? And the other thing, if you didn't know, he can talk. He can talk and he can talk. So one thing I learned at any event that I go with Mike, you say, Mike, you want to say anything? You got 10 minutes. It never ends up being 10 minutes. It's 30 minutes if you're lucky, and then you got to find a way to interrupt him politely to stop talking. But especially if there was a really good donor there, then for sure he was on his game. So that for sure was one thing Mike could do. The other thing that I did, I'm very proud of with Mike, we did, and with Olympic High Schools, we started the first robotics team there, T-Rex. And again, that's still going strong. Very proud of that. A lot of the things that Mike did, you can tell, also had a way of sustaining itself even after he moved on from Olympic to Palisades, and also a really good collaborator with all the business partners and what they all had to do and offer in the community. And then, then you also heard a lot of what with apprenticeships and tours of the schools and talks and all those types of things he would always organize. He was instrumental in the community here for apprenticeship. And I mean, the other schools could do apprenticeship, but Olympic was the leader in that also because of Mike facilitating and taking the lead in that. And then, I mean, I always like to maybe consider the analogy I always like to use when I talk about Mike and myself is we're like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, okay? Mike's Butch, he's the one with all the crazy ideas and does all the planning and does all the talking. And then I just come along in the background with my flashy guns from Bosch Rexroth to make everything okay and support him and bring in the money and then do the pushing with CMS, and we had to push CMS. So somehow we made it work out really well. Okay. So I know a lot of educators know what I'm talking about, but just to really let everybody else know. So the work that Mike has done in Charlotte here, and actually it's going national, something they're actually going nationally that he's doing, being recognized nationally and being implemented nationally and in other cities, that you know, it's really incredible. And his ability to do that and actually execute that on top of it, all these different things and different ideas that he has. So just to really know that's the type of work and the size and the magnitude of what he's doing here. It's really awesome. Really proud and honored to be with him, doing it all together. And I'm looking forward to whatever is next, Mike. I know there's something. There's got to be something. And also, I know, you know, retiring and everything coming up. So we do need more mentors at First Robotics, right? Yeah. So if anybody else wants to talk about that, well, actually, you know, come come see me. But also as a friend, so one thing Mike has done is he roped me into fantasy football, his fantasy football league, and I know there's some other people here probably in this fantasy football league. I'd like to meet you finally. But I pay my money every year, and I know I lose every year, so I know you act. But one thing Mike and I do enjoy together, outside of work, and I always have to pay because I always lose is beer and wings after I lose my bet with him in fantasy football. So again, I'm looking forward to a lot more of those too. But again, again, we can all be very proud of Mike. Mike can be very proud of what he's doing, and really, it's been a great honor for me to know you since with all the craziness from the beginning. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, same thing. As everybody, good friends of mine, family, as well many other colleagues, business partners like me that have been speaking about Mike. I only found it is all true. This was 3 years ago. This is a very limited time compared to many of his friends that have been working with him. I got introduced to Mike because of his workforce development talents that he already does in the Charlotte region. And since then, 3 years ago, when I learned about what Mike has been doing, Mike told me about this, that Balu, we recently won this $1 million grant from Microsoft, and this has led us to our foundation, Bill and Melinda Grant Foundation, that helped the Olympic High School. If I can do this $1 million in a high school, you with a PhD and a career from NASA, you should go after big bucks. And I didn't know what you mean at the time. I said, what do you mean, Mike? He said, I got your back, brother. Just go and get the big bucks. So 1 year later, I found myself hitting a jackpot with $24 million of workforce development clean energy grant for the state of North Carolina. So myself, Balu Goguraju, I work at North Carolina A&T State University, one of your sister cities from Greensboro. So we are very fortunate to understand what it takes to work with Mike, because we do know that Mike is not an average educator or a simple instructor, but we loudly call him in our project team as Mike the Champion. Right. So he's not only our boots of ground, he is also the very well-versed orator, speaker. We love in our team Mike, the way he speaks. We call him like Mike the diplomat. When he speaks, he's the best diplomat you can have on your team. So some of my colleagues speak about that. So based on all his work, we are very fortunate to bestow the award from our team as the Lifetime Achievement Award to Mike Realon last year in Steps for Growth. That is our large clean energy workforce development project for the state.
Wow. Mike, I wrote you a poem. In halls of learning where dreams take flight, a beacon of guidance shines so bright. Mike Realon, a name well known, in career education his legacy's grown. With passions that burn like the midday sun, he's helped countless students one by one, crafting resumes and careers with expert care, guiding young minds with wisdom are rare. In fields of green where baseballs soar, he finds joy, and yet there's more. For in his heart, the love of the game is matched by his drive to see students acclaim. He lives and he breathes each career plan, a tireless mentor, a steadfast man. Thousands of lives he's shaped and steered, the futures are bright, he's always cheered. From mock interviews to networking tips, he's there for every stumble and slip. With patient and vast and knowledge deep, he's helped them soar and made dreams leap. In classrooms filled with youthful hope, Mike Realon hands out the rope to climb to mountains and reach the peak. With every lesson, their futures speak. A champion not just for baseball's grace, but for every student's determined face. He's shown them paths, unlocked the doors. Their successes echo and futures roar. So here's to Mike, the great educator, a mentor, a guide, a true curator. In the game of life, he's hit home runs, lighting the path for countless sons and daughters?
I happened to cross paths with this incredible human being because I heard there were things going on at Olympic High School, and I said, I gotta go see what's going on. And somehow I got in touch with Mike, and I said, Mike, can I come and see what's going on? And he said, yeah, come on. And for the last, I don't know, 7, 8 years, something like that, every time I ask him, get on Zoom, share what you're doing, get some alumni, share what you're doing, get some kids online, get some of the partners, Rex Roth and all those other people. I guess that's his name now, right? Any of these guys? Because I've been trying to spread the idea that we can do schooling for youth differently, to assist and support them to find their agency and their opportunity in life. And I was talking to, I have a full house at home, believe this or not. I've got my mother, my daughter, my 2 grandsons, her boyfriend, and the 3 dogs and the cat. So we got a full house. And I was telling them what I'm coming down here. He says, why are you going all the way down to Charlotte? I said, because I'm going to honor this man. I mean, where else would I want to be? This guy, as you have all pointed out and said, I mean, there are not that many people like him. He is the salt of the earth. He is doing the work in this community. He is changing the lives of youth. He is inspiring others to do the same. That's what I have tried to do, is capture his essence and show what he's been able to do. I wish there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and there should be around the country and the world. What in other words would happen if there were people like you who go out of their way and say, what can I do for you? How can I make your life better? How can I help you find your passion and your purpose? And I've seen it again and again on the alumni, the panels, youth. You just heard from one of the students earlier. You've made a change in lives of so many people. So, damn straight I'm coming down here. And I want to thank you so much for everything you've done and who you are and inviting me. You're an amazing person, and I hope that we can all keep your spirit alive in our own ways and always reach out and say, what can I do for you? How can I make a movement? How can we change the way we're working with youth, giving them opportunity? And I'm blessed to have known you and know you. Thank you. Yes.
Wow, look at all these people. And I guess you give them a little food, a drink, and they say nice things about you. But my wife's going to be expecting you all to dance tonight as well. So I just want to say thank you. Thanks to all the educators who've been able to work with at Olympic and then Palisades, but especially to Eric, because Eric's always in the rough conversations when it's not so nice sometimes about what we're looking to do, when it's not in alignment with how education normally works in America. So without Eric, we're not here to. I mean, it's kind of that simple. And as he said, his predecessor with Miss Barry Burford, without Barry Burford, we're not here today. Yeah, none of this stuff would have ever happened if those people didn't step up and had the courage to say that we're working for kids in order to improve this in a better way, because old metrics and old way that we do things is proven of what happens in America with regards to how the metrics are set up. So I'm appreciative of Eric. I'm appreciative of all those educators who are willing to look about what Chris does at Northeastern University in Boston about experiential learning and having kids apply what they know in a meaningful way through project-based learning and moving them through, so hopefully one day they can work for Mark or they can work for Chad and the other folks at Siemens in a much more meaningful, intentional, purposeful way with what we're doing. I want to thank those also, obviously, with our business partners, with Mark, the other ones that are in the room here today, who through these last 20 years, provided over $20 million cash in kind and over 35,000 hours to volunteer about what school could be, but not doing it the old way. But looking for new ways with how those dollars get applied in much more meaningful way, and providing apprenticeships like Chad took advantage of, right, through his way. And how old are you now, Chad? 27. It's hard to believe. He's a young-looking kid, right? Of how he's been, and then traveling to the White House to meet with President Trump, the German Chancellor Merkel, about what happened in high school, that you got on board and on this pathway in this meaningful way, and not just him, but so many other kids, and finding that way. And I'm appreciative to all those businesses who look for different ways and willing to look at things differently, of how we can provide those opportunities for our kids. So I've gotten asked a lot too, as I'm about to be leaving, about what did you learn? Somebody corralled me the other day, and they just said, I don't understand, this executive. Like, you've got this track record of decades of all this meaningful work, but it just doesn't get scale. Right, Chris? Yeah. And with these meaningful best practices, right? Well, part of it, though, too, is you get a sense of the people here today, right? I think of the different educators that are here today, of the different businesses here today, that you got to find those meaningful partners with what you're doing. But I can look at my own life and with my wife. Finding the meaningful partner. So I wouldn't be here, this whole event wouldn't happen without my wife. Kind of demanding it happen, but also the team behind her, with all the family folks who helped within this. But I think in a microcosm, kind of shows what happens when you get good people, and those folks are willing to find a spot that our interests overlap in a meaningful way, and that we work in that manner. Am I making it hard on you, Randy?
No, sir.
Moving around. So, but I would look for my kids and others within this realm of, when you're looking to do something meaningful in your life, you got to find, like my son said, you find the area that we all overlap with those interests, and you find a way around no matter what it is, finding that way that you can collectively, no matter how disproportionate to everybody's objectives, you find the one space that you can all kind of find a common area that you can work together on in order to do this. And so I hope my kids and others here who might be looking for that, to me, that's the way that you become successful and happy in life. And in being able to move things forward in that way and in that manner. So I want to give you all a hand for coming out today, and coming out tonight, that we can spend this time and understand we've gotten a lot of awards these last few, and I get to stand up and get the Steps for Growth Lifetime Achievement Award, the Equilibrium Award, the Charlotte Business Journal Awards, and all these awards, because they got to give it to somebody. But I do know, and I appreciate that, I know without all of you who have contributed in such a meaningful way, I'm the one who often gets to go up and accept that. But none of this is possible without all of your contributions over the last 2 decades towards a more meaningful way of what we can do in education that makes an impact on the lives of kids, and also build a talent pool and expand that talent pool in a purposeful, meaningful manner. So thank you.
This kid just runs silent.